Well, good afternoon. It is Saturday, July 22nd. Oh, wow. Time is flying. VBS was over, but we did go to the planetarium at Gettysburg College last night. It was a very interesting evening, and we had a nice little snack meal at the pavilion beforehand, and that was really pleasant. It was nice. It was good to walk around the grounds of the college afterwards as well. So we thank Ron for arranging that, Ron Parr, and we thank Gettysburg College for hosting it. Maybe we'll spend some time to correct them on one or two things that he said weren't miracles. I will be posting something later on today about the Christmas star. And there'll be a couple of videos. In fact, there's a whole series. There's 4 videos, about just over half an hour long each, about the Christmas star and about the wise men. And it's a great historically accurate account of that whole period. And it goes right back to Isaiah, it goes right back to Daniel, and lays the foundation, starting with prophecy, which is how it should do. But the thing is, the question that I asked the gentleman last night was, could he run that program? And he admitted that there were certain anomalies, but I don't think he was quite willing to admit it was a miracle. But in fact, I think it was the planet Jupiter that made a sort of elliptical orbit that we managed to watch end on. So the orbit wasn't wide, it was an end-on orbit. And it appeared within the sign of Virgo. And this is what the wise men saw. So it appeared to be stationary at some point in time. And I believe, now this could be checked out, but I believe that this was a unique sequence. And of course, the stars lined up. God gave it to us right at the beginning. Let me go right here. Into the Old Testament. And we're going to go down. Always when you want to find something. Let me be firm, divided the waters, called firmament heavens, and morning and evening were the second day. The waters third day, the lights in the firmament heaven to divide thy night. Okay, so Genesis 1:14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Let them be for signs. And that's exactly what the wise men, the Magi, read the signs in the sky. Christmas star. Okay, we're going to go straight into the book of Acts in the King James Bible. And today we're going to finish off this story about Paul and see how he fared in chapter 23, verses 16 to 35. And the very last words were in the verse 15, if he ever came near, they are ready to kill him. There was about 40 people who made a pledge to kill Paul. And when Paul's sister's son heard of their lying in wait, he went and entered into the castle and told Paul. Then Paul called one of the centurions unto him and said, bring this young man unto the chief captain, for he hath a certain thing to tell him. So he took him and brought him to the chief captain, and said, Paul the prisoner called me unto him, and prayed me to bring this young man unto thee, who has something to say unto thee. Then the chief captain took him by the hand, and went with him aside privately, and asked him, what is it thou hast to tell me? Now this is a fairly good indication that he was willing to listen. He took him by the hand, took him to one side, and says, no, what have you got to tell me? Okay? He wasn't going to dismiss him out of hand. And he said, the Jews have agreed to desire thee that thou wouldest bring down Paul tomorrow into the council, as though they would inquire somewhat of him more perfectly. But do not thou yield unto them, for there lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men, which have bound themselves with an oath that they will neither eat nor drink till they have killed him. And now they are ready, looking for a promise from thee. So the chief captain then let the young man depart, and charged him, See thou tell no man that thou hast showed these things to me. And he called unto him 2 centurions, saying, Make ready 200 soldiers to go to Caesarea, and horsemen 70, and spearmen 200 at the 3rd hour of the night. And provide them beasts, that they may set Paul on, and bring him safe unto Felix the governor. Then he wrote a letter after this manner. Claudius Lysias, unto the most excellent governor Felix, sendeth greeting. This man was taken of the Jews, and should have been killed of them. Then came I with an army, and rescued him, having understood that he was a Roman. And when I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him forth into their council, whom I perceived to be accused of questions of their law, but to have nothing laid to his charge worthy of death or of bonds. And when it was told me how that the Jews laid wait for the man, I sent straightway to thee, and gave commandment to his accusers, also to say before thee what they had against him. Farewell. Then the soldiers, as it was commanded them, took Paul and brought him by night to Antipatris. On the morrow they left the horsemen to go with him, and returned to the castle, who, when they came to Caesarea and delivered the epistle to the governor, presented Paul also before him. And when the governor had read the letter, he asked of what province he was. And when he understood that he was of Cilicia, I will hear thee, said he, when thine accusers are also come. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's judgment hall. So this would have been Caesarea Maritima on the coast of the Mediterranean. It was a great seaport, and of course it was named after Caesar. Maritima because it was a maritime location. So Paul was kept there, but notice the courtesy afforded him because they recognized that he was a Roman citizen. They were very loyal to their nation because Romans weren't just Italians. Romans had assimilated through all the countries of the Mediterranean. So once you were a Roman, it didn't matter what your heritage was prior to that. If you were a Roman, you're a Roman. And they regarded that with great respect and authority. And Paul used that. He had to, because he had to evoke the help from people who could keep him safe from these zealots, which is exactly what they were. So it's interesting to note that he does, solicit their help, and he is treated with respect when he gets to Felix. So I'm excited about this. I like reading this. This is a story. This is like a cliffhanger, it's like I want to go more, but that's for today. And thank you all for listening. I'd like you to keep a friend of mine in your prayers. I won't give his name away. I won't give the circumstances, but he is a friend. He is a dear brother. And he needs strength to cope in a time of tribulation for him. You can just call him a friend of Chris. God will know who you're talking about because I've talked to him already about him. But he needs help. And I'm asking my prayer warriors to pray for him. Thank you. Remember, God loves you. I love you too. Bye for now.